Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when you might feel caught in a relationship that doesn't seem to be moving forward. You may feel lost or unsure about the direction of your life. And in the midst of that, you wonder, is this the right person for me? Sometimes God's protection is not in the form of guiding us towards something new, but rather in the form of keeping us away from the wrong things, especially relationships that aren't aligned with His divine plan for us. Today, I want to share with you 3 powerful signs that God may be protecting you from the wrong relationship. The first sign is a disruption in your peace and inner turmoil. You see, peace is a gift from God, and when something or someone is out of alignment with His will for your life, you will often experience a profound sense of inner unrest. This unrest is not just a fleeting discomfort, it's a deep spiritual disturbance. It's the kind of feeling that tells you that something isn't right, no matter how much you try to rationalize or justify it. When God is protecting you, He allows your spirit to experience that turmoil as a way to guide you away from danger. If you find that you can't find peace in your relationship, take it as a sign that God may be steering you in a different direction. The second sign is unanswered prayers and delayed progress. You may have prayed for clarity, guidance, or blessings, but instead you find that doors that should be open are being shut, or your progress seems stagnant. This too is God's protection. When we align ourselves with the wrong person, God may withhold His blessings because He knows that moving forward in that relationship will only take us further from His purpose for our lives. In these moments, God's silence is not abandonment, it's redirection. His love for you is so great that He refuses to bless something that could hurt you in the long run. Trust that His silence is a form of protection, leading you to a place where your prayers can be answered and your life can truly move forward. The third sign is unnatural struggles and repeated red flags. God often speaks to us through our struggles, and in relationships, those struggles manifest as recurring issues, red flags that we choose to overlook. You may notice repeated patterns of conflict, dishonesty, or manipulation that don't align with the love, respect, and peace God desires for your life. The key to recognizing these signs is that they will keep appearing no matter how much you try to smooth them over. These struggles are not coincidences, they are God's way of warning you, guiding you to let go. When He allows challenges to persist in a relationship, it's because He knows it will not lead to the life He has planned for you. Recognize these struggles as divine interruptions meant to redirect you. God's protection sometimes looks like a loss of purpose and direction. The right relationship should enhance your calling, not diminish it. But when you find yourself in the wrong relationship, you may feel disconnected from your purpose, unsure of your direction, or distracted from the path you are meant to follow. It's as if you've lost sight of who you are and why you were created. God allows this sense of confusion because He knows that a relationship that doesn't serve His plan for you will only hinder your growth and your ability to fulfill your purpose. When you feel lost or disconnected from your divine calling, it's a sign that God may be urging you to realign with His purpose. And that sometimes requires letting go of relationships that are pulling you off course. Finally, God's protection often comes in the form of a sudden push to let go. You may experience a situation where, despite your efforts to hold on, the relationship falls apart, or you're forced into a position where you have to walk away. This abrupt end is not a punishment, it's a divine intervention. God may create circumstances, sometimes painful circumstances, that push you out of a relationship for your own good. These moments may be difficult to understand in the moment, but later you will see that they were necessary for your growth. Trust that God's push is always for your protection, redirecting you towards something better, something aligned with His greater purpose for your life. So if you find yourself facing any of these signs, disrupted peace, unanswered prayers, repeated struggles, a loss of purpose, or a sudden end to a relationship, take comfort in the fact that God is protecting you. His love is so profound that He will not allow you to stay in a place that will hinder your growth or your destiny. Trust that He is guiding you towards something greater, a relationship that will support you, strengthen you, and align you with the divine purpose He has uniquely designed for your life. There's a feeling you've probably experienced at one point or another, the sensation that something is just off. It's a quiet, unsettling discomfort deep within you, one that you can't always articulate, but you know it's there. It's like a cloud that hangs over your spirit, clouding your judgment and your peace of mind. This disruption in peace isn't something to ignore or brush aside. It's a sign, a message from within, a message from God that you're not where you're supposed to be. When you're walking in alignment with God's plan for your life, there's a peace that surpasses understanding. It's a peace that holds you steady, even in the storms of life. But when you are in a situation or a relationship that's not in line with His will for you, that peace will begin to fade. And it's not a gradual thing. Either it's an unsettling, deep disturbance that shakes your inner foundation. Your spirit knows even before your mind can process it that something isn't right. God gives us this internal compass, our intuition, our spirit, to guide us through life's decisions. It's a quiet but powerful force that keeps us on the right path. When that peace begins to waver, it's as if God is warning you, saying, pay attention. He's speaking to your heart, urging you to step back and reconsider the direction you're heading. We sometimes mistake this inner turmoil for fear or insecurity, but it's often much deeper than that. It's God's protection at work, gently guiding you to let go of what's pulling you away from your true self, your purpose, and your divine destiny. This disruption in peace can take many forms. It might show up as restlessness, where you can't seem to find a moment of calm. You may find that even when everything seems fine on the surface, there's an underlying sense of unease that you can't shake. Perhaps it's an emotional turmoil and inexplicable anxiety that grips your heart when you think about the relationship you're in. It's not the kind of anxiety that can be reasoned away by external circumstances. It's a gut feeling of spiritual unrest. It's the kind of feeling that won't let you be comfortable no matter how much you try to convince yourself that everything is okay. And here's the thing, this inner turmoil is not a punishment. It's a form of God's love. His love for you is so deep, so protective, that He doesn't want you to stay in a place or with a person that will ultimately hinder your growth, your peace, or your future. So He shakes you out of your comfort zone, forcing you to confront the dissonance in your spirit. He's saying, I have better for you. I have a plan that will bring you lasting peace, joy, and fulfillment. Trust me enough to move forward. Now, many of us try to rationalize away this discomfort. We try to push it down or pretend it doesn't exist because we fear the change that might come if we listen to it. But I urge you to stop and consider this. God is never trying to make you uncomfortable for no reason. His peace is the foundation He wants you to build your life on, and if He's shaking that foundation, it's because He wants to build something stronger. That inner turmoil is the divine call to release what no longer serves you, to step away from what is holding you back so that you can walk into something greater. The peace that God offers isn't the absence of difficulty, but the assurance that no matter the circumstances, you are on the right path. When that peace is disrupted, it's not to cause harm or distress, it's to redirect you towards something better. It's a loving nudge to realign your life, your choices, your relationships with His perfect plan. So if you are feeling that disturbance in your spirit, that unsettled feeling that something is wrong, don't dismiss it. Lean into it. Take it as an invitation to pause, reflect, and listen. God is protecting you not by keeping you in discomfort, but by showing you that there's something better ahead, something that will bring you lasting peace, joy, and fulfillment. Trust in His guidance, trust in His love, and know that He is always leading you toward the life you were destined to live. Unanswered prayers and delayed progress can be some of the most challenging experiences to face. We live in a world where we are often conditioned to expect immediate results, to seek instant gratification in every aspect of our lives. So when we pray for guidance, clarity, or blessings and find ourselves waiting, feeling like our prayers are falling on deaf ears or fears, it can be deeply frustrating. However, this is where we must learn to see beyond the surface and trust in the wisdom and timing of God. When God withholds an answer to your prayers or delays your progress, it is not a sign of abandonment. It is not an indication that He is ignoring you or that your requests are unimportant. Rather, it is an act of protection and redirection. God knows that the plans He has for you are greater than the plans you may have for yourself. He sees the bigger picture, the path that lies ahead, and the people, experiences, and opportunities that will shape you into the person you were created to become. Sometimes we can only see what's right in front of us, but God sees the end from the beginning. And if He is delaying an answer or halting your progress, it is because He knows that what you desire right now may not align with the fullness of what He has in store for you. There are moments in our lives when we think we know what we need, when we believe that a specific relationship, opportunity, or situation is the answer to our prayers. But God, in His infinite wisdom, understands that we may not yet be ready to handle the blessings we ask for. Sometimes our growth and preparation must come before the fulfillment of our desires. It is through this process of waiting that we are strengthened, refined, and equipped for what is to come. Just as a seed must spend time in the soil before it can break through the surface and blossom, so too must we be nurtured and matured in ways that allow us to thrive when the time is right. God's delays are often a form of divine protection. When things don't seem to be moving forward in the way we hoped, it's easy to become discouraged and doubt the purpose of our waiting. But in reality, God may be shielding us from what we cannot see, the dangers, the heartbreak, or the setbacks that would have come if we had been allowed to move forward prematurely. There may be a lesson to learn, a piece of ourselves to discover, or a situation to avoid. In His wisdom, God holds us back from things that are not part of His perfect plan for our lives, even when we don't understand why in the moment. It's a form of grace that we don't always recognize until we look back and see the protection He provided by keeping us from moving too quickly. In those moments of waiting, it is essential to remember that God's timing is always perfect. Delayed progress is not a sign that you are being ignored or punished. It is instead an opportunity for you to grow deeper in trust, faith, and patience. It is an opportunity for you to learn to rely not on your own understanding or timing, but on God's greater plan. Trusting in His timing means letting go of the need to control the outcome and instead surrendering to His will. It means accepting that He knows what is best for you, even if it looks different from what you envisioned. This time of waiting can also be a season of transformation. It is often in the waiting that our character is developed, our faith is tested, and our purpose becomes clearer. When our prayers seem unanswered, it is in these moments that we are called to trust more deeply. God may be using this period of waiting to refine us, to build endurance, and to deepen our relationship with Him. Just as gold is purified in the fire, so too are we refined in times of uncertainty. If we allow ourselves to grow in patience and faith during these times, we will find that when the answers come, we are more prepared to handle them with wisdom and grace. So if you find yourself in a season of unanswered prayers or delayed progress, know that this is not a denial of your desires, but an invitation to trust God more fully. It's an invitation to lean into His wisdom, to believe that His timing is always perfect, and to understand that He is protecting you from what you cannot yet see. This is the season where you can deepen your trust in His plan, grow in strength and resilience, and prepare for the blessings that will come at the right time. God's delays are not denials, they are opportunities to grow, to be protected, and to be positioned for the greatness that He has destined for your life. Unnatural struggles and repeated red flags are often signs that God is protecting you from a relationship that isn't in alignment with His purpose for your life. It's not always easy to recognize these signs in the moment, but when you take a step back and reflect, you'll begin to see the pattern of God's guidance. Relationships, like anything else, should flow with a sense of ease, peace, and mutual respect. Yet when you're in the wrong relationship, it can feel like you're swimming against the current, no matter how hard you try to make it work. These unnatural struggles often arise from a lack of alignment between your values, your vision for the future, and the person you're with. What may seem like small disagreements at first can quickly escalate into major conflicts. You might find that no matter how much effort you put into communication, compromise, or understanding, the issues never seem to resolve. Instead, they build layer upon layer until you find yourself exhausted and emotionally drained. This isn't the way a healthy relationship should feel. When you are with the right person, there is a natural flow, a mutual respect that makes overcoming challenges possible and productive. But when you are with the wrong person, the struggles feel unnatural. Something just doesn't fit, no matter how much you try to force it. Another key sign is the repeated red flags that keep showing up despite your attempts to overlook them. These are the warning signs, small behaviors, comments, or actions that don't sit well with your spirit. Initially, you might brush them off, thinking that maybe you're overreacting or that things will get better over time. But God has a way of revealing truths to us, often in the form of repeated patterns. It's not the one-time offense that should concern you, it's the things that keep resurfacing over and over. Whether it's dishonesty, disrespect, manipulation, or a lack of consistency, these red flags are not random occurrences. They are signs from God telling you that this relationship is not in alignment with His plan for you. You see, God knows what you need even when you don't. He knows what will bring you peace, joy, and fulfillment. And when you're walking down a path that is leading you away from those blessings, He doesn't just leave you to wander. He uses the struggles and red flags to get your attention. Each time something doesn't sit right with you, it's an invitation to pause, to reflect, and to listen to the deeper calling within. It's God's way of protecting you from unnecessary heartache, confusion, and a future that's not in line with your destiny. There's a reason why you feel like you're constantly fighting for things to work. It's because when something is meant for you, it should be a partnership, one that brings you closer to the best version of yourself. A relationship should never drain you or make you feel like you're constantly at war with your own values. Yes, all relationships require effort, but they should also bring out the best in you, not the worst. They should encourage you to grow, to become a better person, and to walk in alignment with the purpose God has designed for you. When struggles feel unnatural, when the same issues continue to repeat themselves, it's time to stop and ask yourself, is this relationship serving my higher good? Is this relationship building me up? Or is it pulling me away from the path God has intended for me? God doesn't want you to waste your time fighting battles that don't belong to you. He doesn't want you to be stuck in a place where you're constantly battling for respect, trust, or peace. He wants you to walk in a relationship that adds value to your life, that brings you closer to your purpose, and that enhances the person you are becoming. So when the struggles feel unnatural and the red flags keep repeating, recognize them for what they are: signs of divine intervention. God is protecting you by showing you the truth even when you might not want to see it. The beauty of recognizing these signs is that it's not about what you're losing, it's about what you're being spared from. You're being spared the heartache, the frustration, and the detours that come from staying in a relationship that isn't meant for you. God is calling you to something greater, something more aligned with your divine destiny. When you listen to these struggles, when you pay attention to the repeated red flags, you are giving yourself permission to walk away from what doesn't serve you and walk toward what God has prepared for you. And in that you will find peace, joy, and the fulfillment that only comes from being aligned with His will for your life. The unnatural struggles and repeated red flags are not merely coincidences, they are signs from God, meant to protect you from a relationship that could lead you astray. God's love for you is so deep that He won't allow you to stay in a situation that doesn't serve your highest good. These challenges are His way of redirecting you, of ensuring that you don't waste time or energy on something that won't bring you closer to your purpose. Embrace these signs as a form of divine intervention, as an opportunity to move towards something better, something more aligned with the path God has designed for you. Trust in His guidance, for He is always looking out for your well-being and your future. And remember, when you walk away from what isn't meant for you, you make space for what truly is.